They're out to get him. And by the way, they could be out to get him and he could be guilty at the same time. Both of those things can be true. But right now they have not presented any sufficient evidence on him being with a 17-year-old. That's a real problem, massive problem. Even if it's legal in Florida, it's still a giant problem, okay? But if you don't have him on that and you're coming to me with weak sauce about how he did some drugs at a party, I couldn't care less.
So they're saying there is a 17-year-old girl who you had a relationship with. Is that true? And who are they? Who is this girl? What are they talking about, the New York Times?
The person doesn't exist. I have not had a relationship with a 17-year-old. That is totally false. The allegation, as I read it in the New York Times, is that I've traveled with some 17-year-old in some relationship. That is false, and records will bear that out to be false.
So a new sworn statement at least places Florida Republican Matt Gaetz at a party with the then 17-year-old minor that he claimed in 2021 never existed. The House Ethics Committee is currently investigating whether or not Representative Matt Gaetz used any illicit drugs at parties after becoming a member of Congress in 2017. This is, of course, adding to the list of allegations already probed by the panel.
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you.
ABC News reports, according to a sworn written statement that has been obtained by the Ethics Committee, a woman says that in summer of 2017, when she was 20 years old, she attended a party in Florida that Gaetz also attended, which featured alcohol and drugs, including cocaine and MDMA. Sources familiar with the committee's work told ABC News. So according to the woman, in addition to Gaetz, the 17-year-old who was at the center of Gaetz's years-long Justice Department investigation was also in attendance. According to the statement provided to the committee, sources said the woman who made the statement said she saw the then minor naked at the party, which was also attended by adult men other than Gaetz, and that at the party there allegedly were bedrooms that were made available for sexual activities. So an important note here, the woman's statement did not address Gaetz's conduct at the party or his interactions with the then underage girl. So there's more. Though the statement obtained by Congress references Gaetz, it was not written specifically to the Ethics Committee and is not primarily about the congressman. And the woman does not discuss whether or not she had knowledge of Gaetz's alleged sexual relations with the then minor, sources said. Gaetz and his spokesperson have both denied his attendance at the 2017 party. His spokesperson also denied Gaetz's participation in any illicit drugs since becoming a member of Congress. Okay, but remember, Gaetz was subpoenaed as a witness by attorneys representing the former 17-year-old in a civil lawsuit brought forth by Gaetz's former friend, Chris Dorworth. The suit alleges defamation by her and others during the DOJ probe. Gaetz is not a party to the lawsuit. Gaetz's deposition is slated for June and could see the congressman asked under oath about allegations that he engaged in sexual activity with the woman when she was a minor. Now, I believe his deposition was originally scheduled for earlier this month, but it was pushed back to June. So he says he wasn't at this party, but sworn testimony says that he was. He also says he has never done any illicit drugs since becoming a member of Congress. What do you think about that, Moz?
Well, first of all, I can't see the guy without thinking of Beavis and Butthead. He's one of those two. I don't know which one he is. I forget which one's which, but he's very one of them. The guy. Beavis.
No, Butthead.
Butthead, isn't it?
So then, yeah. So he's Butthead, and that makes sense. But more importantly, I don't think it's illegal to do drugs. I mean, there used to be a time. Remember, there was a time when they were like, I did not inhale, and that was a big thing. Now, like, you could do drugs and it's fine. I mean, but then it depends, I guess, on what side you're on, because there was also Democratic Congress members who did, do drugs, and then their side wanted them out, like the Katie Hill incident. So this guy, we all know he's slimy, but more importantly, I hope that the truth comes out, and I hope that we find out if he actually did have some sort of sexual interactions with a 17-year-old. According to Kevin McCarthy, that's why he was ousted. We saw that Kevin McCarthy said the reason he was ousted was because Gaetz didn't want this investigation done. So he certainly seems like he's the guilty type. He's slimy to be the guilty type. But more importantly, I would ask the people from his district in Florida to ask themselves, what has he done for them? I mean, he's part of the most undistinguished and ineffective Congress that we've seen in years. And so that's the bigger question for the people that voted him in, to go, what has this guy done except throw bombs and just put a stop to anything that's ever productive? So that's what I would say.
Yeah, so look, you all know that I disagree with Matt Gaetz on about 98% of issues. And the lies are kind of funny there, because on the air he says a 17-year-old didn't exist, and the records will show that I was never in a room with a 17-year-old, and the records now show that he's in the room with a naked 17-year-old. Not in the room together, like in a bedroom or anything like that. In general, at the party, just to be clear. So, and he says he's never done illicit drugs since he's in Congress. I don't believe him at all. Now, having said all of that, they're out to get him. And by the way, they could be out to get him and he could be guilty at the same time. Both of those things can be true. But right now, they have not presented any sufficient evidence on him being with a 17-year-old. That's a real problem, massive problem. Even if it's legal in Florida, it's still a giant problem, okay? But if you don't have him on that and you're coming to me with weak sauce about how he did some drugs at a party, I couldn't care less. And just real quick, I don't know if you guys, like the other thing that they keep throwing at him is he paid for sex. Honestly, I don't care about that either. That's his personal life. Couldn't care less. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that you're right on all those fronts. But again, he's an easy guy to hate, and so I am hoping for the evidence to show that he did actually do some illegal or very inappropriate stuff. And who knows? Listen, even if they kick him out, which I don't think is going to happen, he'll probably just get a job as a commentator, and some part of the right will see him as a hero. So it's amazing how things that we thought would bring people down 4 or 5 years ago are no longer the case. They actually become heroes in the eyes of a portion of the Republican Party.
Yeah, and rooting for him to be guilty and us telling you he's guilty when we don't know yet are two very different things, and we don't know yet. Yasmin, last word.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny that you asked, about the difference between his personal life and his professional life and what's illegal and what's legal. If he did something illegal, then yeah, I do want him to get caught for that. But I was a child in the 90s when Bill Clinton was going through his impeachment, and we all know what that was about. So I don't think I need to remind the audience. But I remember being, pretty young at the time and thinking, I don't care about this, And of course, at the time, the Republicans tried to make a big case about how, Monica Lewinsky might have seen, or overheard some things that she shouldn't have seen or overheard. And I was like, I guess that's a problem, but otherwise, I don't care what he does with his, whatever. So yeah. It's a personal issue if that's what it is. But if it's illegal, then it's illegal.
Yeah, I said last word, but I just gotta agree with you. I was a Republican when they were doing that to Bill Clinton, and I remember saying on air in the rinky-dink show that I had back then, wait, what are we doing? He had an affair. Why is that relevant to any of us? And if we think that's true for Bill Clinton, then you got to be principled and say the same thing is true for Matt Gaetz. If you got the goods on him, then go get him. But if you don't, a lot of this is, and Clinton was targeted, and you see people being actively targeted. Matt Gaetz, everyone in Washington hates him. He's obviously targeted. And so let's not fall for the things they want us to fall for just on accusations. And when someone's targeted, they always find something sexual. Keep it real, right? The question is, was it actually wrong and illegal, or is it just titillation and we're just supposed to get rid of him because we don't like sex and drugs and that idea? That's pure puritanical nonsense and has nothing to do with policy. So I agree with Yasmin and Moss. Hey, thanks for watching that video. We really appreciate it, guys. And we appreciate it if you become members, because that allows us to be independent, honest, progressive, all the things that you don't get from corporate media. And all of that is because of you guys. Hit the join button below and become one of us, become a young Turk.